Hi, welcome to the Health for Life podcast for those who want to build strong trucks and strong bodies. This is Kevin Muniz and Trisha Foley, your wellness team, bringing you practical tips and tricks to improve your health.
Thanks for listening in. We are excited to bring you our podcast today. We'd love your feedback, comments, and reviews, so please post them on Facebook and YouTube.
Now, last time we talked about some delicious functional fall foods. Trisha, do you want to do a recap of that?
Of course. So if you missed our first podcast, you can listen anytime, but a few highlights were boosting vitamin D with mushrooms and getting more antioxidants through color. Who knew about those purple sweet potatoes, right? So Kevin, today you do have a special treat, and I'm not talking about food. You are going to continue the functional theme and share more about functional fitness. And I'm curious to hear what functional fitness is all about.
Right. Well, to break it down, functional fitness is essentially just taking normal everyday tasks like going up and down stairs, carrying and putting away groceries, standing up from a chair or toilet, and turning that into a workout. The main goal of functional fitness is to get you strong and mobile enough to do all of these normal activities and not hurt. So today we're going to cover 5 elements of functional fitness, and I'll share some functional exercises and go over what they do for you and how you can execute each of these at home.
Oh, sounds awesome. So with these being at home, do you need anything special like access to a fitness center or fancy equipment to replicate these moves?
That is a great question. And no, you don't need a bunch of machines or equipment to get functionally fit. Most exercises just use your body and some common things that you have at home or work, like chairs, steps, even grocery or duffel bags.
Grocery bag workouts. Okay, so you're going to have to tell me more. I can imagine curling a bag of bananas right now, but what about experience with strength training? If I don't have much experience or any formal exercise training, can I still do this type of exercise without a trainer?
So the beauty of this kind of exercising is that there is little risk of injury because you're using your own body for resistance and doing natural movements like standing, walking, and carrying. The body's going to let you know quickly if it cannot do something, so the chances of pushing too hard, like in a fitness center with equipment, is much lower.
Okay, that makes sense. We just, I think, take for granted how much our bodies do for us with those day-to-day tasks. So what are some of the biggest challenges you think people face as we get older?
Yeah, there are a few key things that we want to prepare for that stick out in my mind. And those are getting up off of the floor, carrying things, keeping up with younger kids, whether they are your own children or your grandchildren. Now, as we get older, some of the first things that we lose are balance and coordination. So if we can start to build these core muscles that help us sit, stand, bend, and stabilize, it will be less likely that we'll get hurt.
Yes, and you mentioned sitting as a functional exercise. Dare I bring up using the bathroom? This is something that is an activity of daily living, and like it or not, it really does require you to squat. So as people get older, it's important for them to maintain their level of independence, and having the ability to do things that we often take for granted, like simply using the restroom, is definitely one of those things.
You are absolutely right. And this is something that, like exercise, no one else can do for you.
Yeah, and funny story, actually, I once heard a lady say that she calls her bathroom the gym instead of the John because going to the gym every day sounded much better, but with fitness, she can actually feel like she's legitimately getting a workout, right?
That is good. I like that one. And yes, she can. So on that note, let me begin by flushing out the 5 elements of functional fitness. And these are balance, strength, coordination, stamina, and range of motion and mobility. So everyone's routine will be slightly different based on their abilities of those elements. But generally speaking, everyone could and should do these moves a couple times a week at least. Now, some of the key movements that build a functional fitness routine are, and again, these are everyday movements: chair stands, bag pickups, weighted carries, stair climbing, floor get-ups, pressing, and planking.
Oh man, gosh, that's a mouthful. Can you break each one of these down for our listeners and provide some examples?
Absolutely. So chair stands are one of our foundational movements because it is building our base. Most movements we do start with our legs, so having a strong base makes everything more stable and powerful. And depending on how the person's joint health is, will determine how tall or low the seat should be. The goal is sit down with your feet flat on the floor and then stand up without using your hands or arms for assistance. While doing this, you also want to keep your feet flat on the floor so there's no leaning forward, letting the heels pop up.
Okay, so for those listening, you heard him. If you're sitting right now and not driving, check out how your feet are hitting the floor. If you can sit with them flat, you're good to go.
Yes. All right, so the next one is a bag pickup. And these are another one of those moves that require a strong base, and it adds some upper body and core involvement. So there are lots of different variations and levels of intensity for this exercise, but they will all work the elements of functional fitness. So to start, you're going to bend at your knees and your hips while leaving your back flat so it's not rounding. And you're going to grab onto a bag, maybe groceries, maybe a bag of clothes. Then you're going to brace your midsection, rise to standing, and there you are. So in a real life situation, this could be carrying the groceries or some laundry in. But in your friend's case, this could also be standing up from the gym as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And all joking aside, we don't realize how amazing our bodies are and how much they do for us until something goes wrong. So trying to sit with a hurt quad or hamstring or carrying groceries with a weak core can definitely make those tasks of living more challenging. And I'm sure listeners can relate if they've ever had an injury.
Yeah, you can definitely notice how inconvenient something becomes when you are limited by an injury. The good news is that these functional exercises will help prevent injury as well.
Yeah, that is great news. So tell us about the next exercise that you have for us.
The next exercise in our list is a weighted carry. Getting back to our grocery scenario, now that you have your bags in your hands, you can't just stand there. You need to get on the move from your vehicle to inside your house and then lift and put them on a counter or a table or some shelves. And the easiest way to make this an exercise is to walk with something in your hands. And for an added challenge and variation, you can prop items up on your shoulders as long as it isn't blocking your line of vision, and then walk for a set distance. This could be to the other side of the room, or you could take laps around your house.
Yeah, that's really smart. And now that it's getting colder, it's not always an option to go outside. So this would be an interesting way to get in a little workout and challenge your muscles and balance at the same time. And I can just see it now. Move over, kids. Mama's got groceries.
So stair climbing is another great way to get in some exercise while it's winter. Now keep in mind, it should be started in your hands, but could progress to holding some of those bags of bananas while you traverse up and down. So like the weighted carries, setting a goal of distance or traveled flights of stairs is going to be your goal. While we want to get slightly out of breath during this exercise, we want it to be exercise. So that way when we get into a real life situation, you're not huffing and puffing walking up an actual flight of stairs.
Gotcha. And I'm sure consistency is also important. So with most people going to the grocery store just once a week, how else can we help people get in functional movement every day?
Oh yeah, that is such a great point. There are so many great functional fitness moves that you can incorporate throughout the week. Take example, the floor get-ups. And these are one of the most important exercises to develop and practice regularly, because if you fall and can't get yourself up, you could be laying on the ground injured and alone until someone comes for you. Now, while it sounds silly and basic to just practice laying down and get up, for those with mobility problems, it is super challenging. For those that don't have any of these mobility challenges yet, there are ways to increase the difficulty of getting up, say like don't grab onto anything or don't use your hands for assistance. For the groups that are still mobile and coordinated enough to have no problem with that variation, they can hold a bag of bananas again, but this time put it over their head and keep it there while they try to stand up. And sure, that isn't an everyday move, but it will challenge and train the body to be able to get up smoothly and not lay there waiting for help.
Yeah, I have actually tried this one, not with bananas, but with dumbbells, and it is very challenging. But with bananas, it sounds like more fun. And then after you're done, you can have a little post-workout treat. So what are some of the other functional exercises listeners can try?
So pressing is one of those excellent upper body and core strengthening moves. In everyday moves, this could be like pushing open a door, placing luggage or tools in an overhead compartment, or pushing yourself away from the table before you can ask for a second helping of dinner.
I know you couldn't be speaking from experience on that last example.
Oh, I am just priming myself for Thanksgiving. But all joking aside, variations of pressing movements can vary in difficulty just like the chair stands. A lot is going to depend on joint health and muscular strength, but doing a wall push-up and progressing down into like a countertop height and then down to a chair and then working all the way to the floor will show you how quickly the body can adapt to challenges that we give it.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of challenges, once you get to the floor push-up version, it ties in really well with planks, which are really challenging.
Yes. Planks train just about all of the elements that we talked a few minutes ago. Balance, strength, coordination, stamina, and mobility. Plus, it's a spine-healthy way to get your core worked and has the ability to ramp up or down the intensity level. If you aren't familiar with the planks, they're simply an exercise where you hold the top of a push-up position with your arms locked out for a period of time. You could start on your knees and work your way up to your toes and also increase the time that you hold the plank.
And there are also side and reverse planks that are great for balance and core strength as well. So there's, so many options that will literally keep you on your toes. And we have covered a lot today. Is there a place where people can go to see pictures or get some of these exercises?
Sure, so you can get on the internet and look up the ACE exercise library. They are an excellent resource. Or you can reach out to me directly and I will take pictures and send them to you.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. We hope that we've inspired you listeners to try some of these functional fitness moves and want to challenge you to try at least one of these 5 or 7 in a new way. So post your pics and experiences on our Facebook page. Thank you so much for listening. And for more tips or if you have questions, you can reach out at tfoley@carehere.com. Or Kevin, do you want to share your email?
Yep, so it is kevin.muniz@consultant.volvo.com.
Perfect. And if you already know what to do but just need some extra coaching to meet your fitness goals, please go ahead and make a health coaching appointment. It's at no cost to you, and you can do that on the CareHere app or the patient portal. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.